Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm a small business owner in Denmark, and today we're going to make a necklace in my messy studio. And in this video, I'm showing you how I make a necklace in real time. There are no sped up parts or anything. I removed a few clips because I was adjusting the camera, but other than that, it's pretty much start to finish. I didn't include me making the layout of all the beads, but other than that, this is how long it takes me to make a necklace. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. It's very chill, you can just grab a cup of coffee or tea and just relax, shut your mind off, and just watch me make this necklace. And yeah, to those of you who don't know me already, I've been running my small business since July 2023. When I started, since July 2023, when I went to my very first market with my jewelry. And I started my web shop in February 2024. I have a little shop on Etsy where I sell my jewelry, and I promote my small business on TikTok and here on YouTube as well. I've also been on Instagram a lot, but this year I've found it really hard to get back to it. I feel like I don't really vibe with Instagram as much as I do with TikTok. I feel like on TikTok and YouTube, I can just kind of be myself and post whatever I want. I'm not too worried about aesthetics or my feed being pretty, and yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll get back to Instagram next month, who knows. But anyway, now you have some context on me. And yeah, when I started making jewelry, I wasn't really so focused on using the right materials. I started making jewelry just using iron that would rust, or copper wire that was silver or gold plated. I soon found out that that wasn't a good idea. So now I make jewelry only using stainless steel, plain stainless steel like I'm using for this necklace, and gold plated stainless steel. And the other materials I use are natural crystals and freshwater pearls. And for me, I feel like working with crystals and real pearls is just different. It's just different. It's a different vibe. I feel a different energy. And I feel like I'm connecting more with something whimsical or spiritual in a way when I'm using these natural materials. So let me tell you a bit about the techniques I use when I'm making jewelry. I use a one-step looper to make some of the links for my necklaces. As you can see, that little blue one, the tool I'm using now is called a one-step looper. And what it does is that it bends and loops the wire in one go, in one little movement. I use a combination of using the one-step looper and then making links, wire wrapped links. And you will see that later in the video what I do. So for all of my necklaces, I use kind of this. For some of them, I make most of the links with the one-step looper. And for others, I wire wrap some of the links and then loop the rest to have a kind of more interesting design, but it also takes longer and it's harder on my hands. And the reason I chose to use the one-step looper is because that before then I was wire wrapping all of my links, just using my hands instead of using the looper. I mean, I use different, it's kind of difficult to explain, but I used different tools to first like bend the wire with one tool and then use two tools to like loop the wire. Like it's a lot harder doing it without the one-step looper, and last year I could really like feel it in my hands, and I just knew that okay, if I'm turning this into a business and making a lot of jewelry, then I will ruin the joints in my hands and fingers and probably get like carpal tunnel or something like that. So that's why I chose to use the one-step looper and in combination with wire wrapping. And since then I haven't really experienced any issues. I know when to take breaks and like what to do to not overwork my hands. And that's really important as a small business owner who hand make their things, because you can really like ruin yourself if you overdo it. And jewelry making for me is like I really enjoy just getting creative and making something beautiful that people will wear. I think that's a really amazing thing to, like, for example, making this necklace and someone seeing it and thinking, oh, that's so me, I need that one, and ordering it and wearing it in their daily life. I feel like being part of someone else's life in that way is just special to me. I think the more time I spend running my business, like every month someone orders something new, and I just think to myself, like, that's another person out there in the world who is wearing my jewelry, and I think that is really amazing. And some of my customers who are repeat customers, they eventually have like a little collection of jewelry I've made, and that's just so, yeah, that's to me it's magical in a way. Yeah, actually I've been making jewelry since I was a little girl. It's been one of my hobbies that I've had on and off throughout my life. And when I started making jewelry again after having a long break, it was, like, as I said, I went to my first market in July 2023, and that was actually the same month where I started making jewelry again. So the situation I was in at the time was that I had finished uni a few months prior to this, and I was looking for jobs, like researching different businesses and sending applications, getting some internships, but yeah, I felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. So yeah, all this work I was doing, like, it just all turned out to be like rejections and no interviews or anything. And to kind of cope with all of that, as I said, I started making jewelry again. In the beginning, it was just something I did for myself, but one day when I was just like minding my own business, making a pair of earrings or something, this idea hit me, like, you should try to sell this and try to make a living. And I didn't know where it came from, but I didn't really question it. I was just like, yeah, good idea. And I told my mom about it, and she was like, yeah, cool, that's a good idea. There's a flea market in town on Saturday. Maybe you could bring some jewelry there. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. So I had a few days to just like make all the jewelry I could, and then I did it, and I actually ended up selling a bit. Like, I think I sold for about 300 kroner that day, Danish kroner. I'll put it on the screen what it is in euros or dollars or whatever. And yeah, that for me was just like a point of no return, like having the experience of I made something and someone actually wanted to, like more than one person actually wanted to buy what I had made. I mean, that was kind of a first time experience for me, and that really got me started, that really motivated me to keep going. And after that I started going to more markets, a lot on the weekends, both flea markets and craft markets, design markets, that sort of thing. And yeah, I kept doing that for months actually, until December. Like in December I went to markets every weekend. Like it was a lot of work, but it was also amazing. And then in January in 2024 I took a little break from markets because I was just like so exhausted. And also in that time me and my partner had just moved into a house. We rent a house in the countryside in Denmark. It's a really big house and it's really nice, and because it's in the middle of nowhere, it's really cheap, which we really like as well. So after that, after moving, after all that like stressful time of going to markets and also working a job in a nursing home on the side, I just really needed a break. But like when I think back to that January in 2024, I felt like, oh, I had just completely fell off the wagon. I was just like taking like too much of a long break. But actually when I look back on it, it was only for like a week or two that I didn't focus on my jewelry making, because I decided to open my web shop in February 2024, and I started like a few weeks before February began to kind of prepare, take pictures and do some research as well on how Etsy works and everything. And my partner helped me take some pictures of me wearing the jewelry, and I had prepped all of that, and that took some time. And on February 3rd I launched the shop. So actually when I look back at that, I didn't take that much of a break, but it felt like I did, because I had been so focused on jewelry making and trying to make a name for myself that I felt like, wow, you've lost it now. But that's not true. But that's a really nice thing when you do something and you take a break and you feel like, whoa, I've spent too long away from this. Like it's not like you just want to keep taking a break like you do with the times I've worked, either studied or worked a full-time job. I always felt like when I went on a vacation or took a break, I didn't want to come back. But in this case it's different, because with my small business and this journey that I'm on, I feel like it's really for me. It's me that is benefiting from this, and it's my life. It's about making my life something more than having a full-time job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes it's really necessary, and if you can find a job that you really love, that's great. But for me, I just realized that I didn't want to do that. I didn't really want to do that at all. I just feel like whenever I'm in a situation where someone has power over me, or someone tells me what to do, or I'm depending on someone for a salary or something, I feel really caged and pressured into a corner. And yeah, I feel like it sounds crazy, but I feel kind of like a wild animal in a cage, just like shaking the cage, bouncing off the walls, that kind of thing. And I just decided that I didn't want to live my life like that. But I don't really have any regrets at all about what I'm doing or where I'm going, anything. Like as soon as I chose to do this, I haven't looked back. Actually, I haven't looked back, not like once. I mean, since I started doing this, it's like compared to the rest of my life, it's been the first time where I really felt that I was going somewhere, that I was doing something worthwhile, that I was actually working towards something that was meaningful. I mean, before I started my small business journey, I felt like I was just going a bit all over the place, and I wasn't happy in the same way that I am now. It's a whole different thing now. How I feel and what I worry about, and it's just put my whole life into perspective. Like in the past, I've struggled way more with anxiety and like negative thoughts than I do now. I still have them occasionally, but sometimes I'm like, whoa, I kind of forget what it feels like to have a lot of anxiety. And that's really a privilege for me. And yeah, I think I'm just really dedicated to this journey, and I'm like, no matter how long it takes, I'm just prepared to do the work and spend the time, and I don't expect to be like an overnight success or anything like that. I mean, I am working towards something, I am thinking about it every day, and I'm trying to be as consistent as possible with promoting my business and working on my business and getting it out there, focusing on things that bring me closer to what I want, and also trying new things, like for example trying to post videos on YouTube. That was also a new thing for me. I've been this is my in the second week of January this year in 2025, I started posting weekly videos on YouTube. So now that's 7 weeks ago. I've been posting one video a week since then. And I mean, I don't expect to have a huge channel in a matter of a few months. I am also just focused on like making more videos, posting a video each week, and see where that takes me, see what happens. And these kind of things, like, to me, it's a risk and it's kind of a challenge to keep yourself motivated, but for me it's not really a question of why am I doing this, should I keep doing this. It's just like, I know why I'm doing this, and I think I should keep doing this, even if it takes a while, because everything takes a while to turn into something bigger. That's what I believe. And if you're not prepared for that, I think it will be a very big struggle to spend a lot of time doing something that doesn't pay off immediately. Like, you have to take the small wins and just keep going. I mean, actually the other day I had one of my friends texted me because I had been sending them snaps of me editing, and kind of like, wow, this is difficult sometimes, like doing these voiceovers can be difficult. And she was just like, she asked me, are you sure that you can make money on YouTube in Denmark? And I was just questions like those, they just really annoy me. Like, first of all, it's just like, yeah, you can make money on YouTube in Denmark if your channel is successful. I mean, I did all of this research before starting YouTube, and it's just like, that's something you have to deal with, like your friends questioning you. Yeah, that's just something, unfortunately, that you have to deal with. And I've gone through these moments with my friends a bunch of times where they're kind of questioning me or worried on my behalf. And it's just, I worry enough about my own path myself. I don't need others to question what I do or worry about me, because like when you make this choice, that's just something you know that it's not safe and that it's not certain what will happen. You're not like secured an amount of money or success or anything, but that's just something, that's a choice I made, and that's a choice that I'm proud of. And when you have like people questioning it, it just feels like they're projecting their own insecurities onto you, and I just find it so exhausting. So I think I will limit the amount of like information I share with my friends on this subject, because it's exhausting having to justify what I do or explain it. I feel like I'm always the one being questioned. Like my decisions, my life choices are being questioned because they're not like conventional. And it's just, yeah, it makes me feel like they think I'm stupid or something, that I don't research anything before I do it, that I'm just careless, but I'm really not. And I was really frustrated, and I reached out to one of my friends on TikTok, and she wrote me this long message, and I just felt so seen because she had similar experiences, and I just felt so like validated, and I feel much better now. And it's really about like, you really need to find friends that understand what you're going through, and who won't question you in that way, or think your life or your decisions are weird, or like that you're not doing the right thing, or like that doubt you. You don't need that. You don't really need that. So yeah, if you want something, you really have to be consistent and not give up. Like no matter what, you just gotta keep going. Yeah, that turned into a longer ramble. But yeah, I'm just going with the flow, just doing what I can and learning new things, trying new things, trying new experiences and learning from them a lot. And I also always have ideas for different things I could do, ways I could expand my business. For example, right now I'm working on making a series of prints, because I also paint and draw. Like I want to make a collection of prints in a whimsical style, like the same style that I do my jewelry, like from the same universe. So that's something I hope I will be able to put on my Etsy next month. Like stuff like that. I want to see how it goes. And when you start a small business or something like that, you shouldn't expect to see results immediately. Or also, when you start seeing results, you shouldn't expect that you will have the same amount of attention or orders in the next month. As I said earlier, I started my Etsy shop in February 2024, and in my first month I had 3 orders on my shop. And a year later, in February 2025, I still had 3 orders on my shop. And that says a lot about like this journey. Like I've had months with more orders than that, obviously. Like my record is 15 orders, and I hit that in September last year. And I've had more success in other months, but a process like this, having a small business, it's not something you should expect to be linear. Like you shouldn't expect the growth to like continuously increase like every month. that's not really how it works in most cases. There are always factors to consider. For example, in the beginning of the year, it's always more dead than in the rest of the year. Like that's just it. No matter how successful your business is, it will take a hit in the beginning months of the year. That's okay. That's as long as you know what you're dealing with and what to expect, it gets a lot easier. Of course, I wish I had more orders this month, but I'm doing what I can. I'm promoting on TikTok like I usually do, and I'm just trying my very best. And getting stressed out about things not going your way or you not having the amount of orders that you want, it's just gonna stress you out, and it's just gonna have a negative impact on your journey and the energy you put into things. I found that that's something I've really learned during this journey, and I've gotten a lot better at it since last year. I remember last year it could almost like be a bit desperate sometimes when I wasn't getting orders. I could like go into a negative spiral, and I feel like this year it's not happening in the same way, because I know better now in a way, and I know that the orders will come eventually. Everything's gonna be all right. Of course, sometimes it's difficult, but that's something you just have to deal with, and I think it's okay. I mean, we all have ups and downs in different ways in our lives, and that's just how it is sometimes. And I've also found a lot of support on TikTok from my fellow small business owners. They're just amazing. I love them so much. It's wonderful to feel like you're a part of something, like we're all just on this journey together and supporting each other. I think in the beginning when I started posting on TikTok, I felt like other jewelry business owners were kind of like my competition, and I found that they're really not. I think that was a very naive point of view to have, and luckily I'm smarter now. I just see them as my friends, and it's a community really. We lift each other up, and we always comment on each other's videos and try to spread some positive vibes. For example, there's this I actually don't know her real name, but her username is Crystal Candy, and that's the name of her business. And she's really good at like helping me stay positive. She said like, maybe instead of focusing on lack of orders, you should start doing a small wins series. And I was like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. So I started doing this little small win series on TikTok where I list all of my small wins that week. And I think that gives just a much better perspective on things. Like, because maybe you had a video that got a lot of likes, or you had a really sweet comment or something like that. I mean, those things are very important as well. And I feel like that's really a lesson in life, to not just focus on what's not going well, but focusing on like what happened that day that made you smile, or like just the things that are going well, even if it's just small things. I mean, I find that so important, because if you get lost in like, I didn't have enough orders this month, I only had 3 orders, and it can just turn into a lot of negativity. And sometimes I really need to remind myself to focus on the small things and focus on why I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this to also have fun with having a business and having a kind of job in a way. And sometimes I really lose track of that fun, having fun part. It can turn so serious, like, oh, make sure your shop is perfect, everything looks perfect, you need to post new jewelry every week and you need to do this and this and this, and it can turn so like corporate business minded. And I don't like that aspect of it. I really need to remind myself to actually have fun with what I'm doing and not just push on and chase those orders. It also has to be fun. It's also about spreading joy, and maybe I'm not like making a huge amount of money or anything, but you're like, it's not just about making a lot of money or hitting your goal of orders in a month. It's about spreading joy and like doing something different that makes you happy and that makes others happy as well. That's really what I need to focus on. Like that should be involved in my goals. And some ways that I'm trying to have fun is that I'm making different kind of videos on TikTok, more like fun videos, and I've also started doing these outfit videos, like these whimsical outfit inspiration videos. I've also posted some of them here on YouTube as shorts, so you can go check them out if you're interested. But yeah, just having fun, doing something different, and not making every post about, look at my jewelry, you can buy it here. That's also annoying, like, to look at. I want to share more about like who I am as a person and my vibe and aesthetic, and also maybe something more about how you can live your life more whimsically, or embrace your inner whimsy or witch or anything. I want both my YouTube channel and my TikTok to be more about that, like living a artsy, whimsy life and inspire people. Because I think that that's a big part of my journey as well, and if I really embrace that, I think I will be much happier, actually. Yeah, it's fun. It's more fun that way. That's what will be my focus this year too. Yeah, and to get back to what I'm actually doing here, so I am in the finishing process of the necklace now. And right now I'm trying to figure out the length of the necklace, how long it should be, and I'm about to attach the chain to the necklace, because I make this part of the necklace where I have crystals and beads all together. Then I attach it to a chain that goes like the rest of the way along the neck. And because I'm doing everything by hand and kind of like making it up as I go along, it's kind of random what length I will use for a necklace. It really depends on the design, and I think this necklace, it's more fitting to be a longer necklace rather than a choker, so I had to think about that when I cut the amount of chain that I needed. And what I'm doing when I attach the chain is that I make these wire wrapped links that I try to explain like in the beginning. So this is how I make them. I kind of use tools to bend the wire, and then I use this round nose plier and another tool to wrap the wire around it, and then make all of these little wraps to finish it. And the reason I do that when I attach the chain is to have no weak links in the necklace. Because if I used a jump ring to attach the chain, it could easily like fall apart. Eventually that jump ring slip out of the links in the chain. And I have kind of like this kind of OCD anxiety thing where I am terrified of my jewelry breaking and my customers being angry with me. So that's one of the reasons that I wire wrap the chains to finish them. And I do the same thing when I attach the extender and the locking mechanism at the back, because I really want my necklaces to be strong and durable so that they don't just like randomly break, because like jewelry shouldn't break just like randomly all of a sudden unless it's really old, or that if you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing while you're wearing jewelry, if you get stuck on something or something like that, like the jewelry is supposed to have a breaking point because you shouldn't get strangled. I'm really focused on quality and on making my jewelry durable. That I really care a lot about that. Because if you buy a piece of jewelry, it shouldn't just be like wearable for a year or two. It needs to, at least, you should be able to wear it for years to come. I mean, I make things to last, and that's why I'm not using copper wire or iron wire, because I don't want my jewelry to tarnish. I want it to stay, like, I don't want it to rust and go green or something. And that's why my jewelry is kind of like in a mid price range. Like, it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either. But I believe in quality. Let's just say that. I think I will maybe stop talking. I feel like I've been talking a lot in this video, and I don't really know if you guys prefer to have me talking throughout the video, or if you want some parts where there's just like chill music and you can just kind of vibe with whatever I'm doing. So I think for the rest of this video, I will try just being quiet and just let you guys chill. And then I will come and say goodbye in the end. So I am putting the finishing touches on the necklace and attaching the locking mechanism, and I'm nearly done. So in a moment I will show you the finished necklace. Yeah, so here it is. This is the finished necklace and I'm really happy with the result. And actually I ended up selling this necklace at the witch market. There was this super cool girl who just fell in love with it immediately, and I just love when that happens. So she's out there somewhere wearing it, which is wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this video, and let me know what you think in the comments. See you next week.